Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome, one and all, to Intrazon, India's largest retail intraday traders online conference. You are in the 12th and final session of the Intrazon Intraday Seminar Series, and I am the host and also the speaker in the final session with my topic titled The Bank Nifty Intraday Precision Price Action Trading. So, friends, I hope every one of you know me. I have been in the financial market uh, ever since 2013 on a serious note and full time from 2017. Compared to all the senior speakers that who shared their knowledge and experiences with you, my experience is comparatively low. But I have a deeper experience in the areas of analytics, okay, data driven activities, and so on. Okay, so with less of introduction, we will directly jump into the subsequent slides. So how many of you are interested in full-time trading? Or how many of you are already into full-time trading? How many of you got carried away by some Twitter and Telegram posts thinking that making money is very, very easy and I can crack this game very easily? Friends, I have 4 rules to anybody who comes full-time. And I have successfully ensured at least 50 people and from taking trading as a full-time profession. I call it successful. I repeat, I have successfully ensured at least 50 people from quitting their job and jumping into full-time. I have stopped them. Why? Because of these reasons. If you want to take full-time trading, number one, you should be 100% debt free. Number two, you need to have minimum 2 years of your family expenses in your pocket, assuming the fact that you will take at least 2 years to become a reasonably successful trader. Okay. And third, you need to have an exclusive trading amount as your trading capital, which means suppose your monthly family expense is 50,000, that comes to 6 lakhs per annum, which is 12 lakhs per 2 years. That 12 lakhs should never be in your account. It should be either in your wife account or your mother's account, and tell them next 2 years take care of the expenses. Plus, you need to have a fair amount for trading. Suppose you want to earn, let's say, 50,000 a month. Assuming you make an average of 2 to 3% a month, you should have at least 15 to 20 lakhs capital. And anybody coming full time with 1 lakh, 2 lakh capital, okay, is like anybody going to Bombay for job with 5,000 rupees salary. I repeat, anybody coming into derivative trading with 1 lakh, 2 lakh capital is as good as you going for a job in Mumbai with 5,000 rupees salary. And finally, you should already be making some money. If not your full salary, at least 25% of your take home salary you must be earning from the markets. If anybody ensures these 4 rules, there is a high probability of success. And anything beyond is an absolute Rajnikant stunt, which may not only put you in risk but also your family in risk. I always share this in the best interest of traders who gets carried away by illusion, so that they come to the ground level and adjust to the realities of markets. Please go and speak. I strongly recommend, if you want to learn trading, okay, stop talking to people who flash big profits. You will not have anything to learn from them. Go and talk to losers. Go and talk to people who are facing drawdown. They will give you the best learnings of their life. Always meet people who had drawdowns. They will teach you more. Yes or no? Comments, please. Sounds good. Now, friends, there are two kinds of retail traders. Any guess who are they? And both of think they're extremely superior. One is a breakout trader who thinks the breakout of yesterday's high, last week high, last month high, or a last year high, I will go long or short, or naturally the yesterday low, last week low, last month low, and so on. Second is one more guy who's a reversion trader, who's a support resistance trader. Whenever price goes to a resistance or a support, he will look forward for a reversal and take a trade. One guy thinks he is a tiger, the other guy thinks he is a lion, but in reality, they both are not carnivorous as they think, they are herbivorous. And the real carnivorous is the institution who prey on the retail traders. Correct? Institutions are big money that trades in markets. They have the power to move the markets. They can always move the price up and down. According to me, institutions don't even look at charts. They create charts. And how many of you know that institutions don't even have the concept of stop loss because they make multiple entries and multiple exits? How many of you knew this? All they want is liquidity and extreme deeper participation from the retail community. Okay? The institution creates multiple plots, multiple traps for retailers. Institutions can move the price up and down easily. Market is 13,000, they can always take it to 11,000, they can even take it to 8,000 if they wish to. From 13,000, they can even take it to 15,000 if they wish to. But the fact of the matter is, in order to take the price to that level, it costs money. It costs investments. But is it worthy to take it? In simple words, if I have to explain, imagine, I always give this beautiful example. America attacks Taliban. Okay. So in the northwest frontier province of Afghanistan, the American troops fight the Taliban troops. In fact, Joe Biden made a statement that he's going to withdraw them. So the fact of the matter is, imagine each bomb cost 1 million and assume there are 100 terrorists going for a meeting. They're all sitting together and having a meeting. Okay. If America drops one bomb from the skies to kill 100 people, what is the cost of killing a terrorist? $1 million bomb thrown at about 100 terrorists who are having a meeting. It is $10,000 per terrorist to be killed. Now think about another scenario. In that, one notorious guy is there. He doesn't listen to the meeting. He just walks out for a smoke. The smoking area was 100 meters away. So he goes for a smoke and he escapes that bomb. And he also escapes death. However, from the skies, those guys can also see this fellow, right? They can see this guy who is away from the crowd. Now tell me, will they drop that bomb on him to kill him? Another $1 million bomb on him? Will they drop it? No. Why? The cost of killing another terrorist is about $1 million. So technically they can do anything, but they will not do second time because the cost, the return on investment would be lower. So please remember this aspect. Next is the retail. The retailers are me and you, our friends, our families, our neighbors who wants to make money. None of us have the ability to move the market. Stop loss is the only way to protect us because our capital is always limited and we feed their liquidity. We feed their liquidity. Now, friends, as I told, the institution doesn't make an entry in one location. They make multiple entries at multiple locations and they'll have multiple exits also. They are driven by strategies. And don't ever think they all watch 20 EMA, 50 EMA, 100 EMA. They will watch RSI 70-30. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay. The institutions are always in the trade. Now think about it. Think about a war. Friends, in a war, you need to have a strategy to fight the war. And that is a war zone. Now, when Nifty is 13,000, the institution will think one way. When Nifty is 12,000, it behaves in a different way. When Nifty is 11,000, it behaves in a different way. At every level, there is a war to be fought. Enemy will never attack at one shot. When an enemy attacks you, he will attack in a strategic way. He will attack in a strategic way. He will attack from multiple locations. How will they attack? Where will they attack? How do you know where they are hiding? How do you protect yourself when that attack happens? And how do you generally escape from such a huge army? So institutions will do multiple attacks from multiple locations. So you need to know how to face it and manage their traps. People who are extremely good in risk management, they can escape any of these things. Even if they fail 10 times, 20 times, if they will make some money 5-6 times. And if the risk reward is very high, they will somehow sail through. But those people who do not have a proper risk management in place will get eliminated fast. Moving on. So the underlying principle of the whole thought process behind this price action is that there is something called as pending order. Imagine somebody puts 100,000 orders of, say, Reliance Industries. Somebody wants 100,000 into whatever 2,000 price. Okay. Now what happens? The institution tells the team that this is the price at which we need to accumulate. They will give a price range. Accumulate between X and Y, and don't go beyond that. So let me ask a simple question. How many of you think institutions buy market orders? How many of you think institutions buy limit orders? Majority said limit orders. Fair enough. That is the answer for myself. Because if institutions go for market orders, the market will be moved beyond their planned numbers. So what happens when price comes down? Let's suppose it comes and exactly touches the level at which that 100,000 quantity is set as a pending order. What will happen? That level will act as a strong support and price moves up. And all the sellers who came down to fight that level, they are pushed back by these buyers. At that time, say maybe around 20,000 orders are filled. Next time, some more sellers come and push the price further down. When they push the price further down, again some more orders gets filled. Maybe this time 30,000 orders got executed. Like this, every time price comes to that level, it will pierce through the zone, it will pierce through the level, and then finally at one point of time when the entire order is exhausted, it will break. Sridharan says, how do we see this order beforehand? There is a software called Order Flow. You can have it. There is one more software from Bloomberg which costs about 5 lakhs a month, where you can see the next 200 orders. You can even look for that. But without looking at these kind of numbers, by looking at the candlesticks, you can make some fair judgment based on some strategic principles, out of which one or two principles we will discuss in today's session. Okay. Now, friends, according to me, the fundamental aspect in price action is engulf. I call it break elegantly. That's what we call as engulf. By the way, what is an engulf? It's a concept